We're here with Paige Morris from Top Notch Properties. Paige, tell us, what are commercial uses for rural property?
So when you have rural property, that means that you are outside of city limits, to be specific. So if you're looking at putting a commercial building or business on your property, make sure that you're thinking about, is it going to require a commercial building? Is it going to use the buildings that are on it? You can also have ag purpose, ag/commercial. So you might be running a hay production off your property. Animals, you could be selling livestock. So all of those things can be incorporated into your rural land.
What are deed restrictions and how do they affect me?
So deed restrictions they restrict what can be built, where certain things can be built, if you can have a business or not on your property, if you can have multiple structures. So a lot of that has to do with the use, location of structures, and what else you can have besides structures. This is very important if you're looking to put additional like barns or storage buildings, if you're looking to have animals, if you're thinking about having a business, or in some cases, multi-generational homes. Some people would like to buy land and put maybe their parents or grandparents in a separate home on their land. So make sure you check into your restrictions and see if you can do that.
How does zoning impact me and what can I do with my property?
So zoning has more to do with restrictions that are inside city limits. They can also affect rural properties in some cases, but most of the time we look at zoning when we're looking at land in town or if something has changed in its zoning. So you might have a neighborhood that's on the outskirts of town and the zoning changed from neighborhood to possibly light industrial, or retail may be an option. So make sure that when you're looking at property in town, you understand the zoning. That's going to tell you what it can have built on it, similar to rural property, what you can use it for, if it can have a commercial entity or not, and it will also dictate where your parking can go and where your utilities can be plugged in as well. So just some food for thought.
Can I run a commercial business on my property without changing zoning?
So it depends on what the current zoning is. So if you're zoned for something like in our town, we have what's called P4 mixed use. So mixed use can really be both. It could be residential or it could be light commercial. So those are some things to kind of take a look into. You can request to have your property rezoned. Now, that doesn't always guarantee that it's going to be granted, but that is an option. So just make sure if you're thinking about putting a commercial entity, building, running a business out of your garage, things like that, make sure you check your zoning, see what's allowed, and make sure you're working within those boundaries. And if those boundaries don't fit, then navigate the process of applying for a rezone.
How do I find out if my property has deed restrictions or zoning limits?
So you want to make sure that you're partnering with a real estate professional to dig into this. Now, as you both are investigating all of the pieces, it's important that you're working together as a team to figure out, okay, what deed restrictions does my property have, or were they filed from a previous owner? What zoning is my property currently under? The real estate professional should also be able to tell you if the zoning could possibly change in the near future, because zoning does change through reevaluations from time to time. So make sure that you're pulling in all the resources. Get in contact with your city, reach out to the title company and see if they have any documentation to go along with the property from previous owners. There's lots of options you can take here, but when you pull in a team, it makes it a lot easier to check all your boxes.
Thanks, Paige.
You're welcome. Thank you.